What's going on, everybody? Just let me know how it's sounding. I got some new equipment that I'm trying to get out here. Just trying to get it to sound more professional and things like that. Happy 4th of July. You guys know I am proud to be an American. I'm proud to live in America. I'm proud to have served, in the US Army. I'm grateful to God that, I live in this country. A lot of people, they don't like this country. They would want to live somewhere else, apparently. Like this, some people think America is the worst place you can possibly live. But if you've ever traveled, you know that America, it's blessed to be in this nation, as a Christian, as a believer. So let me know how the sound is going. Man, God put it on my heart to really talk about this. It's called Project 2025. And what happened was after the debate the other night, a young lady brought it up. And I think she said she was 18 years old. And she said, what do you think about Project 2025? They're really trying to, scare us with it. And she was clearly concerned about it. And I had to look it up. And when I looked it up, I said, oh man, we must talk about this because I mean, they're using on TikTok. I mean, they got millions and millions of views. They even mentioned it on the BET Awards. And so what's happening is they're broadcasting this message, this perspective, and a lot of people are believing it. I mean, and the thing is, not only are they believing it, but the passion behind, the way that they're responding to it can be so dangerous. And so I'm gonna play you some clips. We're gonna talk about it. All right, now Project 25, it's from the Heritage Foundation. I believe they've been around since the 1970s. It's a 920-page document. You can read it for yourself, but I'm going to give you the short version of it. All right, so let's just play some clips real fast, and then I'm going to show you what's going on here.
Project 2025 is absolutely genius. Okay, there are 4 pillars to the plan. First pillar is to restore the American family. Here's how we're going to do that. 1. Ban gay marriage, because families don't do that. Get married. 2. Ban abortion pills nationwide and track women who go to get abortion. Oh, and the best way they're going to restore the American family is to get rid of IVF. Because why are you trying so hard to have a family? Under Trump, you get your family when you're forced to. Genius. Otherwise, they're doing great things for the family. Banning books. Who needs them? We have iPads. Except for the Bible, which features such bangers such as eating your kids. Actually, just getting rid of the Department of Education altogether, because that's what you get for talking about critical race and gender, which are banned, by the way. And if your child is one of those minorities, then maybe you shouldn't have had a child. Finally, removing the EPA, because there's nothing better for your family than bringing them into the world that might not exist. Second pillar, dismantle the government and restore self-governance. Project 2025 will vet and train government officials to work for the government who are against the government. Duh. And laws no longer have to go through Congress. They can just be passed by the president. Just so we can quickly pass laws without having to go through these bureaucratic hurdles like, oh, it's unconstitutional. Third pillar, defend the nation. The military will be under presidential control and can be used against the public. Because why would you be against the government?
All right, look, just quickly, I want to say this, okay? If you look at what they're trying to ban and what they're trying to do, all right, that's the part that is important. All right, so let me play the rest of this, and then the clip that follows is the kind of people that are upset about this stuff.
That's against the government. Final pillar, secure the right to live freely. Because that is your right to live freely. Just don't talk about gender or race. Don't be gay. Don't be Mexican. Okay, anything but white. Don't say anything bad about Trump. And most importantly, don't be not Christian. Amazing plan. No notes.
I really can't. I met that dancing bear out here in front of the WeHo. Oh my gosh.
What has been your favorite part of this event so far?
I loved going out there and seeing all the kids.
I won't change your little town. Your own children will. Your children will see us. Your children will love us. And your children will join us.
They just happen to be there.
But it's okay for you to do this in front of kids? You're comfortable with that? You think that's something they should see?
A lot of people are doing it.
So it just makes it okay?
But it's local. It's legal. Okay.
Honey, it is natural, honey.
I'm asking him a question.
I'm his friend. So look, it is natural to be who you are and what you are. And look, you see all this? And it's love always wins.
So it always wins. So you can just be
Yes.
naked in front of kids, try
Yes.
to talk to kids.
Exactly.
You don't think that's weird? You don't find anything wrong with that?
No.
I'm not talking to kids. They just happen to be there.
They just
It
have, you're on the
doesn't
front
matter.
row with your dick out. in
It
front of
doesn't
little
matter.
kids. You got kids right here. Literally one over next to you.
Well, I didn't notice that.
But you've been waving. Literally, when the Boy Scouts of America came by, you're sitting there waving at them.
I'm waving at everybody, not just them. They just happen to be there.
But so you just think it's fine for nudity in front of kids?
If there's nothing, as long as you're not doing anything, there's nothing wrong with that.
Not sexual.
I want to pause it there. Right. The reason why I want to quickly pause it there is I wanted you to see the ugly reality of what America is becoming. So the people that support the kind of stuff that you just saw in the clips are the ones that are you seen what that first lady was saying, right? And if you look at that video, the books, let me just say this from the very beginning. The books that they want to ban, right? You're going to see this congresswoman. She's going to say, oh, we want to ban, they want to ban books. They want to ban the Department of Education, right? But the real issue is if you look at it, and it's not that we agree with everything that these people are saying, but they're spreading misinformation, all right? They want to bring the Department of Education back to the state level because we have kids who are graduating high school who cannot read. That is a problem, right? That's what they're talking about. You know, they passed these laws where they're just pushing kids through. And so you have kids coming out of high school who can't read, right? That's just the reality. So they're saying that needs to change. The books that they want to ban, notice she was like, oh, they want to ban books except the Bible, but she didn't say what kind of books they want to ban. They want to ban the books that are pornographic in nature, that are under the guise of sex education, where they're pushing all that LGBTQ stuff and there's very graphic imagery. So right there, you know, oh, they wanted to ban books and they want to ban the Department of Education. It's fear mongering and it's not based on the truth. Let's play this clip. And you got to understand, they're spreading this on TikTok. They're spreading this in Congress. They were talking about it even on BT. This is a big thing.
25 is a far-right manifesto. It is a 1,000-page bucket list of extremist policies that would uproot every government agency and disrupt the lives of every person who calls this country home. The Department of Education would be eliminated, cutting students off from civil rights protections and ending essential Title I funding for K through 12 schools. The Department of Justice would go on a murdering spree. It would rush to use the death penalty and expand its use to even more people while circumventing due process protections. Project 25 not only calls for national book bans in schools, but also creates a list of banned words for the federal government that
Notice how she put it. National book ban, but she wouldn't tell you what books.
would be deleted from, quote, every federal rule, agency regulation, contract, grant, and piece of legislation that exists, end quote. Here are just a few of the words on the list.
For those of you with the shortest attention span, all right, I just want to say this because I know people won't watch this video all the way through, but essentially they're trying to put fear in the people that if Trump gets elected, this is what's going to happen. The Department of Education is going to be banned. Black people are in trouble. And let me just say this. You had 4 years of Trump and you had 4 years of Biden. Under which 4 years were you doing better? It's that simple, right? 4 years of Trump, 4 years of Biden. Look at it side by side. When was your life better? Groceries, finances, all of that kind of stuff. And then, of course, let's take in consideration the legislation that these people are pushing. The people who are pushing the LGBTQ agenda, the people who pushed a lot of the demonic antichrist stuff that we've seen, and they try to push it through legislation. They're the ones, oh, you know, Trump is going to be a dictator and this is going to happen. But they're the ones who are telling you this is what we're going to do. Hillary Clinton, when I become president, and I'm going to put these people in the Supreme Court justice. So really what they're saying is they want to continue to push America in the direction that it's been going. And if Trump gets in, we're going to go in the opposite of that direction. That's the simplest way that I can give it to you. All right. But let's keep playing it.
Diversity, gender, reproductive health, and of course, conservatives want to ban the word abortion. On that note, abortion care would be inaccessible and illegal no matter where you live.
So even with that, all right, now this is a touchy subject. Trump said that he'll support abortion in the instances of rape, incest, and sexual assault, right? And obviously that was a political thing. If he says, hey, we're just going to ban it altogether, they're going to use that argument against him. Well, what if someone gets raped? What about incest? What about sexual assault? So, politicking, right? He says, hey, in these cases, but there's governors that I heard recently, they want to do abortions all the way up to birth and even after birth. And come on, man, the Bible talks about if you offend one of these little ones, it's better that a millstone be tied around your neck. Like God cares about what is happening in America with people, and if we're being honest, if we're keeping it a buck, right? If we're being all the way totally honest, most abortions are not happening because someone was, rape or incest. A lot of people just don't want the inconvenience and they're not taking responsibility for who they're going out there laying around with. If we're being really honest, and that can be proven statistically. All right, let's play the rest of this clip.
Now, we could have an entire hearing on how these policies would quite literally ruin and end lives. And I didn't even touch upon proposals for housing, climate change, worker protections, and more. If enacted,
The climate change stuff is some nonsense as well, because I believe it's India and China that are some of the biggest, with the waste and stuff that they dump out, and they're not even included in this stuff. So a lot of it is just propaganda and fear mongering.
Project 2025 would destroy the federal government as we know it.
The Project 2025 plan is not a game. Look it up.
She probably didn't look it up. She's probably just regurgitating all this stuff that I'm showing you on the internet. That's the BET Awards, the Black Entertainment Television, right? And so they're saying this, and people who don't research, people who won't watch videos like this, they're just like, oh, it's the same thing that they were saying about with Trump the first time. And mind you, this isn't even Trump's plan. This is some whole separate, conservative group, right? They wrote this, what was it, 920-page document. This is what they think that needs to happen to America. Will we agree with everything that's in there? Probably not. But some of the things that are being said about it, it's being twisted, right? Like when she said they want to ban books, right? But she's not mentioning they want to ban the books that have that LGBTQ pornographic imagery in the schools that they feel is inappropriate for children. When they say they want to ban the Department of Education, no, they just want to bring it back to the states, because right now, because of legislation that's been passed, right, we're pushing kids through high school who can't even read. And then there's more false propaganda like this. Look at this.
Project 2025 calls for autistic people in detention centers.
What? So some of you have tagged Project 2025 in my comments. And so I did some deep digging. It seems to be the liberals fear mongering. This kid in this video, he explains it the best. So they're pushing propaganda to get you to vote for Democrats who have put us in the situation that we're in today. Are the gas prices higher?
That's why I showed you the videos of full-grown men completely naked in front of children. These are the people, and the people who support that stuff, and the people who agree with that stuff and agree with remember, Obama opened the door, and look how bad it's going to become. So essentially, like I said again, because I know people aren't going to watch this video all the way through, so I want to keep reiterating. What they're trying to do is get you, so fearful. Oh, Project 2025, you better vote Democrat, or it's going to be bad for Black people. It's going to be bad for Hispanics. It's going to be bad. They're going to make everybody be a Christian, and it's the extreme groups, and they're going to put the Bible in the school, and they're going to take our books out. Like, you better wake up.
Yes. Are utilities higher? Yes. Are groceries higher? Yes. In fact, we're spending $900 more per month for basic necessities than we were under President Trump. So before you go believing the propaganda, actually do your research into what Project 2025 is. Watch this kid's video. Oh my. This here kid gives me hope for the future, that intelligent people can see propaganda.
Let's take a look at this.
No. Other than day one.
Created by Trump's longtime.
This is like a little ad that they did. It's on TikTok, and there's like hundreds of thousands of people watching it. So watch it.
He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, No. Other than day one.
Created by Trump's longtime allies at the Heritage Foundation, along with more than 100 other conservative groups, a 920-page document outlines conservatives' plan to rescue the country from the grip of the radical left. It means that if Trump is elected, the GOP would attempt to implement.
Mind you, the radical left think that what they're doing to America is the right thing to do. They're so brainwashed. When you see the gay parades and the books in the school, they think that Christians are the problem, right? They think, that what they're doing, they're so brainwashed that they really believe that they are the heroes.
Overreaching bills like the ones popping up in Florida, Texas, Alabama, and other red states federally. The document says the GOP will reach its goals by using presidential power to bypass Congress and by destroying what they call the administrative state, which refers to the agencies that try to ensure clean and safe air, food, water, drugs, and consumer products, and that also hold.
A lot of that is just because we've seen what has happened, how some of these agencies, even the FBI, even with the justice system, were weaponized to attack, your political opponent. So there does need to be some change. Like that's just the bottom line. But they're taking it to the far extreme to make you, have the fear mongering. And mind you, when they were talking about defund the police, right, that wasn't a problem. Look at California. Right. If you want to see what these people want to make America, look at California. You got people just lawlessness, just like the Bible warned about, running the stores, and we're so politically correct. Hey, we're not going to touch them. We can't say anything.
Big corporations back from making more money. So that's what Trump means by day one. He plans to fire and replace tens of thousands of government employees who don't agree with him to elevate his power. And yes, he can do that.
First, I will immediately reissue my 2020 executive order restoring the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, and I will wield that power very aggressively.
All right, let's dive into this document.
Everything that they said Trump was going to be when he first ran, right? Everything that they said he was going to be, that's what Biden was. They're pushing all these agendas. When they were saying Russia collusion, they were the ones with Russia. When he was saying, the stuff with China and all that kind of stuff, it ended up being true. And we're almost done. I'm gonna just play a couple more clips.
There are some things indicated in Project 2025 that are quite concerning to me. One of those topics is diversity in the workplace. I'm sitting here and there seemed to be this question of you're either diverse or you're qualified. All I could think about was the fact that I currently hold an honorary doctorate. I also hold a Juris Doctorate. I also hold a bachelor's. I also technically hold.
So look, we don't even got to waste time listening to her. All right. If you know anything about a lot of those individuals, you already know what it is. The point is, this is in Congress. This is on BT. This is going viral on TikTok. And essentially what it is they're trying to put this fear in you, right? That if Trump gets in, it's going to be the worst possible thing. It's over for the country. It's over for minorities. And so they say certain things, like we talked about a million times in this video about the education system and all of that kind of stuff. All I would tell you is this. You have 4 years of Trump. You have 4 years of Biden. You can see it. It doesn't matter this is what they're going to do, right? No, we've seen what they're going to do. When Trump was running the first time, they said Trump is going to be a dictator and he's going to have, access to the nuclear codes and the nuclear button. But when Trump was president, there was no wars. Biden got in, just boom, we're sending money to Ukraine. By the way, we're sending millions of dollars to Ukraine, but we don't have millions of dollars for our own people, our own tax-paying citizens in the hood and the minorities, right? You got they said almost 15 to 18 million people who have illegally crossed the border because Biden opened it up, which, oh, by the way, is not up the kindness of their heart, right? They're doing something sinister there, right? And you're giving them credit cards, you're giving them all this money, why don't you give that to the tax-paying citizens who've already been here for years struggling? People in Chicago, people in Detroit, people in the hoods, right? Tax-paying citizens that are already struggling. So if you were doing this out of the kindness of your heart, what you're doing with the migrants, why don't you do it for our own people who already live in America? Because they're not doing it out of the kindness of the heart. The ones trying to make you fear if Trump becomes president is the ones who are really the dangerous ones. They're the ones who are running this country in the ground. They're the ones that are pushing demonic agendas through legislation. And I must let you know that, young people. That is why God told me to make this video. Pray about everything. You got to do your own research, okay? Yeah. God uses the foolish things to confound the wise. Maybe you don't like Trump, you don't like his personality, you don't like his tweets, but look at the legislation compared to Biden, compared to Obama, compared to Hillary Clinton. They pushed legislation that was anti-God. And essentially what we have right now is a clash where the people that support all of that stuff that I showed you at the beginning of the video are scared that all of the ground that they've gained, all the territory that they've gained in the schools, in the media, you can't watch a movie nowadays without LGBTQ being thrown in your face. They're scared that all of that ground that they've gained, Trump is going to take it back. That's essentially what it is in a nutshell. And they're using tricky language without giving you the full context or the full details, because they know most people are just going to believe the propaganda. They're not going to do the research. They're too busy to research, right? And it's dangerous. They're destroying this country. You already see it. And so I'm gonna tell you what I personally believe, like I told you the first time. When God told me, and I said this, right, that Trump was gonna win the first time, he said, if you build it in the season, I'm gonna bless it. And the Bible says God raises up kings and he tears them down. It signifies his shifts and seasons. I believe that God wants us to wake up and see what's going on here. He wants America to repent, and he'll give us a season to build and prepare, because the end times are going to be the end times regardless. But that doesn't mean that we have to be unprepared. God always makes a way of escape. And so I believe that God is giving people chance after chance after chance to wake up and see, even with what happened with the pandemic. You can't come in the store unless you got this, unless you got that, and the chips, right? Right now you can tap your card. Eventually, you're going to tap your hand. You know, the mark of the beast. It's all there, just like the Bible said. It's happening, and you got to wake up. As in the days of Noah, so it will be, right? Well, it's looking like Sodom and Gomorrah. So it's, you can't listen to what the majority of these people are saying. If you see Disney and Hollywood and the demonic music industry and all these demonic award shows where they're doing demonic rituals, telling you, watch out for Project 2025. You guys just did a whole demonic ritual on the stage. I wouldn't listen to anything that those people are saying. You better just get prayed up for yourself. That's what I'm gonna tell you. You better be prayed up for yourself. A lot of people are deceived, and it's unfortunate. And that's why, you know what, I'm gonna cry loud and I'm gonna spare not. I gotta at least put the truth out there. And then you got the option. What they're telling you, it's the complete opposite. Think about it. The people who push the filthy music, the demonic movies, they're doing demonic rituals on the stage, they're pushing the LGBTQ agenda. They're telling you, watch out, Project 2025. But everything you guys do is demonic. Everything that you guys do is antichrist. All the legislation, all the stuff that you're trying to feed our children, it is demonic and antichrist. Trump ain't the problem. It's them. And if you don't believe that, I'm sorry, they've brainwashed you. Go to www.marcusrogersministries.org if you want to support what we're doing here in Chicago. Look, I need all the help that I can get. If you don't want to sow a seed, that's fine. Just go keep streaming the music. Go stream the new worship album. Whatever you do helps. I'm trying to make a difference here in the city. And the reality is, you know, it just costs to do everything. So that's just the reality of life. If this bless you today, type amen. Please share this video on your social media. You know, I don't usually ask that, but when I seen that young lady bring it up about 2025, Project 2025, I didn't know what it was. I said, man, okay, I got to look into this. And when I looked into it, I was like, whoa, mass deception. The Bible talks about a great delusion, you know what I'm saying, in the end time. So we must speak up and let the young people know, because they're really coming for the young people. They're really coming for the children. And the reason why they're doing that is because they want to brainwash them, make them believe this is the new normal, even though America peaked in the 80s and 90s and we went down ever since we took the Bible out of school, took 10 commandments out of school, took prayers out of school. It's just been getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And so it's a war, whether you want to admit it or not. There's a war going on in the physical, and the influence behind it is spiritual. It's the spirit of the Antichrist. Love you guys. Be blessed in Jesus' name.